Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Tanks, and welcome back today to a, well, for me at least, I don't know if it's for any of you guys, but a long awaited video, my tank review on the Progetto M35 Mod 46, or more simply the Progetto 46. This thing is the tier 8 Italian premium tank, Italian medium premium tank I should say. Not that there's any others at the minute, but there might be by the time anyone's watching this video. Who knows? And it has, obviously, it was the first tank introduced with the auto-reloading system. And I've had this tank for quite a while. It is currently my favourite premium tank. It is straight up. I'm just going to say this at the start. I'm not going to build any kind of suspense at all. I believe this is the best premium tank in the game at the moment. I think for a decent player, you can just do absolutely amazing things. What's going to happen in this video is I'm going to go through into Tanks GG, compare the tanks to others, and then we'll come back into the garage. I'll just explain how this tank needs to be played. There's quite a lot on that because obviously with the auto reloader, it's got a lot of explaining to do, and then there is going to be some gameplay at the end. If you don't want to watch any of the first bit, just want to go straight through to the gameplay, I will post a link in the description to a time. Just skip through to that, and yeah. So the Progetto 46, why is it such a good tank? Now, many reasons for this. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 other Progetto games up on my channel. If I remember, I will try and link them as well in the description. So if you guys want to go have a look at some more ace tankers of this thing, go click through there, and there are some really good games on that. But it's obviously, this tank is mainly focused around the auto reloading system. What is it got to say? I'm not going to try that word. Conceptualization of a draft design developed at the request of General Francesco Rossi, who sorry about the accent, who believed that only light vehicles weighing up to 35 tons would be effective in a new war. Such an innovative design was not approved. Development was discontinued when Italy joined the standard tank project. So that's towards the Leopard and stuff like that. And yeah, it's quite a light medium tank. It hasn't got a lot of armor and everything, but it has got that auto reloader. Now, we're going to head over into Tanks GG. I'll just go through all the stats and everything, and then we'll come back into the garage, and I'll explain more about the auto-reloader and how you have to play an auto-reloader, which is probably why I think most people are here if you are. I know this video is probably about 2 years too late, but still, who knows. So, here we go, guys, into Tanks GG, and I've got the Progetto on the left. We've got the Pantera, the standard tier 8 Italian tank, just next to it here. And then I've gone for the Lorraine, because it's a good auto-loader. And then the tank in which all other tier 8 mediums are compared against, the T-44-100, as more of the, like, standard medium tank, the single shotgun, and everything like that. Just to try and get a comparison, because there's no real 100% comparison other than between the Progetto and the Pantera, because no other tank has got the auto reloader other than the IS-3A, but that's a reverse one and it's a heavy tank, so that's not really worth comparing. So, straight up, the Progetto starts with a 90mm gun, same as the Pantera, and slightly less than the Lorraine and T-44. However, it still has decent DPM of 1800, which is the exact same as the Pantera, which I don't know if that's... I don't know how the DPM is worked out on the auto reloaders, because I don't know if it's just if you just fired the first shell, if you fired all 3 and then completely reloaded. I'm honestly not sure. So, but the DPM's not bad, let's put it that way. Penetration as well is pretty decent at 212 on the standard rounds. The premium rounds on this thing are 259, so again, really nice, decent premium rounds that are still going to be okay at tier 10. You've got 240 average damage, a little lower than the Lorraine and a very fraction lower than the T-44-100, but very similar to most other tier 8 medium tanks. Now, on to the more interesting point, which is the clip of the auto reloader. You have 3 shells in the Progetto. 3 times 240 means you can do 720 damage. God, I had to maths really quick there. The nice thing about the Progetto as opposed to the other two of these tanks is its intra-clip reloads. The time that you have to wait before you can fire if you're firing like an autoloader is only 2 seconds, which means you can get all 3 shots out within 4 seconds, which I think is something that makes this tank very, very good, is that ability to go out and you can put 2 in, sometimes even 3 in before somebody's, if it's a heavy tank especially, has even turned their turret, which is something that you struggle with a bit more in the Pantera, and something you definitely struggle with more in the Lorraine. Even though the clip damage is obviously a hell of a lot higher, taking 7.5 seconds to get it out, usually you can't get it out without taking a shot back in return first. Now, something where the Progetto, I didn't actually realise downfalls a bit to the Pantera, is the shell velocity is slightly lower, and you carry a lot less ammo. This is something not that I've been caught out with in terms of actually running out of ammo. If you need to do 10,000 damage, you really are running out of ammo. But it's something that I've struggled with because I take quite a lot of premium rounds in this tank, because when you get into tier 10 games and you meet the tier 10s, and you just need the premium rounds sometimes. But then at the same time, you want to take a lot of AP. So when you get into those games where you're against tier 6s, I feel like I run out of AP quite a lot, but then you don't want to take any less APCR because of when you get into the games against tier 10s. It is quite tricky. 60 rounds, much, much better. It's a lot more adaptable with that. You can take more standard rounds, and obviously the same amount of premium rounds or more premium rounds, however you want to do it. Gun handling, this is something where this tank is honestly absolutely lovely. 2.1 seconds aim time, very nice indeed, same as the Pantera. 0.33 accuracy, again, very, very nice, same as the Pantera, and that's base. You can get that down lower than that. Gun handling, so the dispersions, again, very good. Not quite as good as the T44-100, so that probably has a bit better gun handling, but its accuracy is lacking a bit. One thing that does stand the Progetto out, though, especially in this comparison, is the 9 degrees of gun depression. Very nice indeed. I mean, 8's not bad. 7's not terrible for a Russian tank, but 9, you can really work those ridge lines and everything like that. Something else this tank is really, really good for, mobility. 55 kilometers an hour forwards, obviously not quite as quick as the Lorraine, and something I didn't realize is not as quick as the Pantera either, but it's definitely not slow. That will be made up for a bit by the fact that it has, I think, some of the best terrain resistances in the game, because I wouldn't say the Panteras are bad, or the Lorraines are really that bad, but they're just really, really good. It means it normalizes, like, they're both similar-ish when it comes to mobility, other than really that top speed, but it's still 55 is not bad at all. Turret traverse, again, really quick, pretty nice at 36 degrees a second. Tank traverse, 46 degrees, is slap bang in the middle, really. And the effective traverses are not too bad at all. Armor, I'm not gonna. Sometimes I click to another tab to go through the armor. It's not really worth talking about. Occasionally, lower tier tanks or even higher tier tanks at extreme angles can bounce off your turret, front and side, because you can't get overmatched. And your hull armor occasionally bounces because 60mm can still ricochet anything up to 180 millimeters of gun caliber. So other than the Death Star, you can ricochet stuff off your upper plate at auto bounce angles, which is not too bad. Not quite as good a turret as the Pantera, but you don't really need it. 1400 hit points, very nice as well. And just 10 meters extra view range in comparison to everything else. Something else that's also quite nice about this tank is the shell cost is relatively low. Not quite as low as the 44-100, but nowhere near as expensive as the Lorraine. And that's actually quite an important thing to consider when you're playing a premium tank, is how profitable it's going to be. And yeah, that is the Progetto. It's kind of like, well, it's very similar to the Pantera, and yes, it kind of is, but I think it's the thing that makes this tank better than the Pantera is the intra-clip, so you can get your clip out faster, the slight advantage it has in gun handling, the mobility is fairly similar, and the view range as well is just nice. The Pantera is still a very good tank, but obviously this tank just makes credits. I would say it's better as well, because obviously the Lorraine is situational, all autoloaders are quite situational. The T44, not so situational, but it's sometimes nice being able to have that clip, being able to do the damage just there and then when you've got the opportunity to, rather than putting in one shot and then having to wait for your full reload and then putting in another one. It's just, It's how you play the Progetto. And speaking of which, we'll jump back into the garage, and I'll kind of go through into the auto reloader a little bit more, because like it doesn't fully show the stats here, and how I believe you should play this tank to get the most out of it. Like I said, if you're more of a visual person, I have about 4 or 5 replays on the Progetto on my channel. I'll try and remember to link them in the description. And just have a look at those, and there's a lot of examples of where it plays well, where it doesn't play so well, and everything like that. But let's jump back into the garage, and I'll go through all the bits I just said. Right, back into the garage, guys, and like I said, I'll just quickly first go through the equipment. You can actually fit a gun rammer to this thing. I'm assuming it's not going to be changed, because I'm recording this video. I don't know if I'll have released it before or after, but I'm recording this video before the Progetto 65 changes, the tier 10 ones, where they've removed the ability for it to fit a gun rammer. I don't know if that's going to affect the Progetto or not. I would assume not, because it's a premium tank, but you never know. Vert stabs as well, just to make sure that aim circle starts a bit smaller. Better dispersion as well on the move. And also optics. So my view range is up around 462, which means you are spotting people. Yes, I've got a very good crew in this tank, but you are spotting people at a decent range. Now, the auto reloader. Base this tank, if you only have, or if you don't have any shells in the clip, you fired all 3, you are going to have 12-second reload on that first shell. It's pretty trash. Second shell, 9 seconds. Third shell, 8 seconds. So 8 seconds is not too bad as just a single shotgun. So even if you never play this thing like an auto reload, you just fire that first shell, wait for it to load, fire the first shell, wait for it to load, fire the first shell, wait for it to load. You're not looking at too bad at an 8 seconds base reload. If we look up here at mine, 6.8 seconds. That's on towards the slow side for 240 alpha, but it's not appalling. You can see as well 7.6 and 10.1 for each of the next shells, which is not too bad. It's obviously, as you can see, firing that last shell is where most of your penalty comes in. Firing the first shell and the second shell is not too bad. So the way I recommend playing this tank is, if you go in against someone and you've got teammates for support, I would recommend firing the first 2 shells. Fire one, 2 seconds later, fire another one, and then reload either your second shell, fire it, or if you've got a lot more time, second and first shell and fire it. But I'd recommend staying on that second shell is still a decent place to stay, because when you've got teammates, sometimes you can't afford to just sit there and let your first shell reload. You need to do the damage now, because otherwise they're going to take the damage. I mean, it's not necessarily taking it, but they're going to do damage, and if you want to do more, reload that second shell. You want that second fire that second shell, sorry. You want that extra 240 damage. You may as well. There's absolutely no point in holding back on that. But then if you're in a 1 versus 1 against someone, so say you're like, you're full health and someone else or another Progetto is on absolutely full health, the way you want to play it, if you're just 1v1 him, is you want to fire that one shell, wait for it to reload, one shell, wait for it to reload, one shell, wait for it to reload, until they're below 720 health. And I always make sure that they're quite a bit below 720 health, usually around 650 or less, because you do want to account for the fact that if you get a couple of low rolls in the clip, you don't want to be left 1v1 against a guy and he's on like 5 hit points, but you've got a 10.5 second reload on your first shell. It's just not going to be great. So just make sure you keep on that first shell. You just want to keep your DPM up and then unload all 3 at the end. And this is something that I think people are scared to do in the Progetto, is if you have an opportunity, if something's on 700 health, you're in a good position, they're not going to be able to rush you or anything like that. You've got teammates in and around you, and you know that they haven't got any team, or once you kill them, you're not going to be able to fire for the next 10 to 20 seconds. Just fire all 3. I think it's something that people really don't get, is you can fire all 3 in the Progetto. It is not the end of the world if you do. You still do reload. You might just have to keep your head down for a bit longer. Especially if it's something like you know, you've got the side of an object 140 who's on 700 health. Why would you let him escape on a one-shot? You need, just kill him. You just get the gun out of the game. And then, especially if you've got teammates, you can fall back, just let your clip reload, and then go back in again. And that's something that that's why I think this is such a good tank, because you're so flexible. But at the same time, you need to be able to play it right, because if you don't, you are going to get punished for it with long DPM, long reload, no armor. It's going to be unforgiving, and you're going to be stuck on your third shell with absolute trash DPM. And yeah, and that's why I think this tank favors the slightly better players, or players who play it and then get used to it and know what they have to do, and don't just go every single engagement, fire all 3 rounds, and then fall back. Because it's not an autoloader, it is a worse autoloader. If you play it fully like an autoloader, it's not good. If you play it fully like a standard tank, so just one shot, it's not terrible, but you may as well play the 44-100, you may as well play something else. This thing excels at being flexible and firing 1 shot, 2 shot, or 3 shots, depending on the situation. And it's nothing that I'm going to be able to say to you, oh, here are all of these different situations, do this and this, this and this, this and this. You have to figure it out for yourself. I can just give you guidelines, and then you need to figure it out. But played right, as the replays on my channel will show, as I'm sure many replays on many channels will show, it can be an absolute beast. Going to the portion of the video, would I recommend this thing as a premium tank? I think you know the answer. Absolutely. This is, if I had to have a brand new account and there was every single tier 8 premium tank lined up in the store, I would pick the Progetto. I really would. It's one of my favourite tier 8 premium tanks. I think it's one of the best tier 8 premium tanks, if not the best in the game. And that's all I'm going to say. Let's jump into the Ace Tanker gameplay. So, here we go, guys, into the replay, and we are on, what map are we on? We are on Cliff. It's a tier 8 and tier 7 game. Again, this is just for the purposes of the tank review. If you want to see me play up against tier 8s, tier 9s, tier 10s, I have several other replays that you can see that. Again, if I remember, honestly, Future Max, if you don't put these links in the description, I swear to God, because you've mentioned them about 16 times now, bloody better do. Otherwise, I'm going to come forward in time and slap your ass. Now, Progetto. I'm bringing it to the middle at the start. Obviously, there is an argument to go to, like, the E2, E3, F2, F3 position. I think some people call it the donut. But I come to the mid just because I'm quick. I want to get there first. I want to try and prevent anyone from really getting up. Put 2 shots into the SCA, and now I'm looking at our UDES, who's just been taken out, unfortunately. And I want to go kill their Progetto, because allowing their Progetto to be in that, what's it called? The low ground there, or even getting up into the high ground, is a really bad idea. On my way, IS-3. Like I said in the review, don't be scared to fire 3 shots. There, I fired all 3 shots because I'm going after the Progetto. It's going to take me a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds to get there. So I may as well have secured that damage. Like, that damage is done now. It's up on my counter. It's done. If I'd have loaded in all 3, just kept another shell, this Progetto hasn't taken any more health. It's not of huge concern. We put 1 in, low roll slightly. We put 2 in, low roll slightly. And fortunately for me, the third one, high roll. Those first 2 shells were really... well, not really big low rolls, like 220 and 221 is not terrible, but 20 low on each shell, and then meaning the third one had to high roll by 22. It averaged out, but still, it was a bit like, I really hope that goes in. IS-2S, 1 in, fire a blind 1 for good measure, why not? For the second, because like I said, firing those 2 shots doesn't really affect your DPM that much, and what I'm then planning on doing doesn't require me to be firing instantly. I get out there because I see the King Tiger coming behind me, and I like making these plays around this donut because people kind of forget that you're here, and then you come back and go, oh hi, put 2 in. Again, that was a bad example of a use of the third shell. I should have kept that. That was very unlikely to pen the shot that I shot. I either should have aimed lower, more towards his tracks, or just not fired the shot. And this is actually going to come back to bite me a little bit here, because then the King Tiger rolls round. I only have 2 shells in. If I'd have had 3, I'd have been able to kill him. So we put 1 in, and then I don't put the 3rd in because I'm in this engagement. I wanted to put 1 in just to make sure that he knew I was here. Like, you know, I'm not completely unloaded. He puts another one into me, unfortunately, and now I am going to fire my 2 remaining shells to finish him off. And again, that's worth it there to fire that 3rd shell, because that gets him out of the game. If I'd have reloaded again, he would have also reloaded again, meaning that I'd have taken another shot of damage. So that was a misplay there, followed by a not misplay. Again, fired the 3rd shell. Some of you are probably watching this going, why are you firing the 3rd shell so much? But that EBR was probably going to then fall back down the hill and get away. And an EBR getting away is really, 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 really bad. You want to kill him. There's no point in letting him get away just because you might save a couple of seconds on your reload. He needs to be dead. Get him out of the game. Then he can't shoot back at you or any of your teammates. You know, it's something that you've got to judge whether you think it is worth it or not. And in hindsight, it's worth it for me because there's not a lot else for me to shoot at. Granted, if I was more loaded, I could have gone around at that STA2. But at the minute, I don't really feel like it. He's got enough problems of his own, and I'm kind of just wanting to support this bit. This side of the map. The Super Hellcat gets spotted, and I think, yeah, I want to shoot the guys at the back. This one of the reasons I wasn't going around this corner was because the Super Hellcat and the Jagdpanther that are up there. Fully aim, fully aim, fully aim. First shot goes a bit high. Second one, nicely in there. We're going to let the second shell load back in again. Like I said, in a situation like that, firing 2, it's not the end of the world. Oh, just missed the STA2. But again, that second shot, it's no massive like punishment to the reload. It's not a huge detriment to it. Firing 3, yes it is, and ouch, we take a big hit from artillery. Put our commander back in, but unfortunately by the time we fire the shot, the Jagdpanther is already dead. And I'll come up into these bushes, see if we can spot. It'll probably only be artillery and maybe the Canonian Jagdpanzer. There is artillery. I saw where he was because he literally just fired at me. Put 1 in, put 2 in. That's definitely a good use of 2 shells. Being able to finish off an artillery that has just slapped you for 300 of your finest hit points. Canonian Jagdpanzer. I've run out of AP rounds here. That's why you saw it only loaded 2 in. We fire both because I may as well. Like, I need to. When something important in this tank, when you switch between shell types, you have to fully empty your clip, which means that you then have the third shell reload, whether you like it or not. So that was just worth firing the 3rd shell at the Canonian, because if not, I was going to have to take the shell out and put it back in again to load 3 premium rounds in. Fortunately, we're now loading premium rounds against heavy tanks. This 7032 looks like he wants me. He takes 1 from me. My second shot absolutely just mess it up. I just completely mess it up. Can I put 1 into his drive wheel? Oh, he really wanted me there. Tiger's not even facing my way. I let the second shell load in. And then 1 and 2 in to finish him off. You saw me load the second shell in there, wait for the second shell, because if I had fired 1, there was absolutely no chance of me getting that kill. If he dropped down to below a 1 shot in the time that I was reloading the second shell, I would have just fired the last one, because, well, there's no point having shells in your clip at the end of the game. No point whatsoever. So you may as well just fire that 3rd shell if you have the opportunity. And there we go. That was all she wrote for this game. We did 4,800 damage that we saw. I think we may have hit a blind shot on that IS-2S as well, but we'll have a look at that in the post-game stats in just a sec. We also picked up a Top Gun, getting 6 kills as well. So just showing you what the Progetto can do. I understand this was a favourable matchup, but like I said, go take a look at some of the other Progetto videos on my channel. I think at least one of them is against tier 10s. I know one's against tier 9s, my most recent one, where me and Lawrence played in the platoon. But yeah, that is the Progetto 46. I'm not going to say much more about it because I've said a lot. There's so many videos that you can go watch as well on the tank. But like I said, if you want to check out my other Progetto videos, I really pray that Future Max has remembered to put the links to them in the video description. If he hasn't, if he's crap, firstly, say that I'm crap. And secondly, the links will be on my channel somewhere. the videos will be on my channel. Just search Progetto 46. And yeah, other than that, we'll go take a look at the post-game stats. Just before we do that, I just want to say, if anybody fancies joining my clan, D2S, I'm currently recruiting. All you need to do is head over to my Discord. The link will be in the description for that, because it's always in the description. And then say in general chat that you want to join the clan, and tag me in the message, and I will have a look at your stats and then get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, other than that, let's go take a look at the post-game stats. So there we go, guys. Just quickly through into the post-game stats. We did actually break the 5k mark, which is very nice indeed. We got that blind shot in the ice 2S, wherever it may be. There we go. We also got a high caliber, and probably unsurprisingly, and a top gun. 918 assisted. That's something that I haven't really actually shown in the Progetto, is that this tank really can get some assisted damage as well, get some spotting damage. We also got 6 kills, which is nice, like I said, high caliber and top gun. 5,026 damage, 6 kills, and 1,440 base XP. This was an ace as well. Don't think I actually said that. 30 shells fired, 26 hit, and 23 pens. Not too shabby. Obviously, one of the main things about this tank is the credit making ability. It really can make credits. Obviously, I had to fire a couple of premium rounds at the end there. If I hadn't, I'd have probably made a bit more profit. But I think some of this was actually due to a mission. But usually I do play this tank with personal reserves. But even if you don't, it still makes a lot of credits. And the main thing is, it's a really enjoyable tank to be playing whilst making credits. It's not like some tanks. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I know that when you go, oh, I have to make credits. Oh, God, I need to play this Terra Premium tank that I've got to make credits. I'm like, yeah, I get to play the Progetto to make credits. Excellent. So also, if any of you have seen my Frontlines video, it's a very good tank for Frontlines. I know that's finished now for the year again. Too late on this one, Max. But it's a very good tank for Frontlines. And yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. I'm not going to go on anymore because it's probably already quite a long video. So if you have enjoyed, guys, or found it useful in any way, please consider giving the video a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Turn notifications on so you know when I'm uploading. And other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.